President Trump's federal tax returns were apparently just leaked. And we're getting a flood of comments here on the channel from a few of you asking us to break this down and talk about what does it mean going forward, as well as is this going to affect the next round of stimulus checks. Hey everybody, let's get right into this. We want to talk about it and break this down with the little bit of information that we have. But before we do, I just want to say we cannot guarantee the authenticity of this report. It was just leaked not that long ago, and we don't know, like, is this actually real, or are they just making this up right now because conveniently it's right before the election? You know, this would be a perfect time to leak some news. So again, we don't know if this is actually true or not, but we'll give you the information that we have based on this report of President Trump's federal tax returns potentially being leaked. Now, again, remember, as we look back on this situation, there's been so many different people, mainly Democrats, trying to get President Trump to display and to reveal his federal tax returns over the last several years, in which President Trump has continuously said that he is under audit, which many people who are billionaires get an audit every single year, so that would be no surprise. But he said that he's under audit and that he will not show his federal tax returns, which, again, not unreasonable at all, because that happens with many very wealthy people. They get annual audits, so no surprise. Any quick thoughts?
No, I think the big thing is we want you to understand, how does this relate to you? How does this affect you? And so we'll get into that a little later in the video. But that's really, I think, why we're choosing to make this video today, Matt. Is that, do you think that's fair?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why we're kind of making this video.
How does this pertain to you? Yeah, many people kind of, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, we must have got some news, because all of a sudden we got a flood of comments really quickly for people asking us to break this down. So again, before we get into this, I just want to say we're not taking sides of any kind. This is nothing against President Trump or against Democrats, nothing like that. We're just breaking it down with the information we have. So apparently, in 2016, President Trump paid $750 in federal taxes. Again, another $750 in 2017. So, it looks like for 2 years there, he paid $750 in federal taxes. However, it sounds like, according to this report, that the 10 out of the 15 years prior to that, he paid $0 in federal taxes. Okay, so what does that mean? You know, $750 of federal taxes, that's literally almost, that's virtually nothing. That's very little for someone who probably makes tens of millions, possibly even hundreds of millions of dollars in a year. So another thing too, the report says that President Trump is personally liable for $420 million in debt, much of which is coming due within the next couple of years. Again, that doesn't matter at all, but it's interesting because it was in the report. So, one thing I want to throw out there. Now, what else do I have on my notes?
You want to talk about business and real estate?
Yeah, so business and real estate. Okay, I wasn't sure if there's any other facts that I want to throw out, but here's what I want to say about this. So, many people that own businesses, big businesses, and real estate, I'm just telling you how it is. Business and real estate, two of the greatest tax shelters out there. So, for anybody that owns a business, anybody that owns investment real estate, they don't pay taxes. That's the fact of the matter. So this is nothing against or with Trump, nothing like that, but literally billionaires, they don't pay taxes. People that are very, very wealthy do not pay taxes, many of which because they own businesses or they own a ton of investment real estate. How does this work? Why do people that own businesses and investment real estate, why do they not pay taxes? Well, a couple of different things. For one, I just said he's personally liable for $420 million in debt. Why is that? Well, because he has leverage on everything. A lot of his, the rental or the real estate that he owns is leveraged. So he doesn't have any money in it. If he doesn't have any money in it, it's very little. So there's another thing that's basically magic. Many people who own investment real estate consider this thing to be magic, and that is depreciation. So what's something with that? What depreciation is basically over the course of a set number of years, you get to deduct the value of that piece of real estate. Well, guess what? Let's say somebody earns $1 million on a piece of real estate, but you get to depreciate maybe 100 grand of that per year. Not quite 100 grand, but you get to depreciate a large portion of that. after you write off all of your expenses of all kinds, any deductions, your write-offs, maintenance costs, management, anything, repairs, management, anything you can basically any expenses that you have on real estate over the course of a year, you get to write all that off. And then with depreciation, almost every single time it takes you into negative territory. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you don't pay taxes, and then that's just the name of the game. So people that own real estate, investment real estate, don't pay taxes. That's just the name of the game. So everybody does this. It's perfectly legal. It's within the tax code, and that's just how it is. And President Trump owns a ton of real estate. So there you go. Not only that, businesses. Another way, another tax shelter, another way that you can make tons of money owning businesses and pay virtually nothing in taxes. So again, that's how he does this. I mean, you could have asked me 15 years ago, how much does President Trump pay in taxes? The answer is zero. Why? Because he owns tons of businesses and real estate. He writes everything off and he depreciates the rest, wiping out any potential gains. That's the name of the game. Everybody does it. So,
yeah, and I guess I think what's just important to understand is that this is legal. This is what an accountant would do for you on paper. It's not like he's personally choosing to do something to avoid taxes. This is just the way it is when you own real estate. You automatically get depreciated. You automatically have write-offs, and you automatically have losses that oftentimes would offset the gains. And so that's just normal. It's not unique. It's not special. It's just very basic real estate and business.
The reason I wanted to explain this and kind of hammer that home is because I fear that many people will say, oh, no, that's illegal. No, it's not.
No, it's literally what accountants do. I mean, this is just a legal tax code, totally fine.
Yeah, totally fine, everything with it. So, at surface value, you might think, oh, wow, he doesn't pay any taxes and he earns millions of dollars. Well, I mean, literally everybody does it that owns these pieces of these assets, things like that. So, how is this going to potentially affect the next round of stimulus checks? Because people are worried, is this going to affect the next round of stimulus checks? In fact, I think this could potentially even help it. The reason being is, first of all, we know that Congress is working on that next stimulus package right now and those next stimulus checks, which are within that stimulus package. So we know that, and hopefully they'll get some voting on this week. But here's the deal. I don't think this is going to affect those stimulus checks at all. In fact, I think it may increase the chances of getting them possibly even more quickly, because President Trump might be in a situation now where he's thinking, okay, we got a month to go before the election. I need to scramble whether we get a stimulus package or not. If we don't get a stimulus package, he may be far more prone to doing some kind of executive order to redirect that $300 billion that I've been talking about the last few weeks. So I actually think this actually may increase the chances of getting stimulus checks maybe even quicker, because he's probably irritated by this, that this story is possibly even leaking, and he might think, I need to do whatever I can to kind of get back in the game a little bit, because people might be a little bit irritated by this. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, you know what? You're in the hot seat. Negative publicity. You got to produce some positive publicity so that people vote for you in just a few short weeks. So, I mean, actually, I think this is kind of going to be a catalyst to him kind of speeding things up here so that we get some money, because right now he looks, oftentimes, a lot of people might think he looks bad in the media's eyes, and so he's going to need to change that. And so I think it's going to actually help us in the long haul.
Yeah, but either way, we never take sides.
No, we're not taking sides. It's just literally you get negative publicity, so you're going to do something to offset it.
Again, like I said, we never take sides, and all we wanted to do was give you the information right out of this report, because so many people were concerned. But you know what? Please don't be concerned about this. Literally nothing to worry about. And we don't even know if this story is real. I mean, we don't even know if this is actually fact, or if it's just something that was made up and released. That could easily happen too. We know that there's a lot of news out there that sometimes is released, and then we're like, oh wait, that actually wasn't even true in the first place.
Yeah, it's like a twisted version of the truth. And again, we're not blaming anyone, but it's just because it's so new, that's kind of where we're at with that.
Yeah. So hope that helps you out. Hopefully that answers the questions to many of you who were leaving comments. So if you have any other comments or questions, please leave those down below, and we'll do everything we can to help. Otherwise, I will catch all of you tomorrow morning. See you, everybody. Thanks so much.